We agreed to brag together, but you secretly dominated the world. Chapter 1. We agreed to brag together, but you secretly dominated the world. Chapter 1. At the East Barrens, in the outer sect of the Great Mystery Sect, in a short thatched cottage, a pale-faced young man was quietly leaning against the head of the bed. After a long while, only then did Su Chen slowly open his eyes. He looked helplessly at the furnishings in the hut and sighed, I probably transmigrated. After spending 2.5 hours, Su Chen finally accepted this fact. He had indeed transmigrated to a magnificent fantasy world. He had thought that he would be the almighty protagonist in the novel, an invincible existence standing at the top of the world at the very beginning. However, reality proved that he was overthinking. He was now an outer disciple of the Great Mystery Sect. Not long ago, he went to the desolate mountains with other 4 outer disciples for training. In the end, they encountered a Chi Sea realm beast, and almost all of them were killed. The original host crushed the sect token at the critical moment, calling out to the nearby sect elders for help. After that, the original host lost his memory. Su Chen guessed that the original host should have died at that time. What kind of beginning is this? All the meridians in his body are broken, and all the bones are shattered. He can't even move. This is no different from dying. What a sin. It's better not to transmigrate here. Other people can be the almighty protagonists in their time travel stories, but why did I become an ordinary man? Su Chen looked at the sky speechlessly, feeling the spiritual energy in his body fading away. At this moment, the only part of his body that could move was his mouth. I don't want such a transmigration. However, in the next second, his heart suddenly dropped. Ding! The God-level bragging system is binding. The God-level bragging system is bound successful. System. When Su Chen heard the mechanical voice in his mind, his body trembled. Just as expected, as a time traveler, the system is a must. System, hurry up and introduce your functions. Dear host, this system only has one function, and that is to brag. As long as others keep flattering you in their minds, you will be rewarded. There are 5 bragging levels: white, blue, purple, gold, and red. There will be corresponding differences in rewards between each level. Note: you must not give any verbal or physical hints to others to make them brag about you. Isn't this just a bragging system? Ads by PubFuture. Su Chen's eyes lit up when he heard the system's introduction. For Su Chen, who had read a lot of web novels in his previous life, this was something new. System testing. Host: Su Chen. Cultivation. 7th level of Qi Gathering Realm. Meridians are broken, cultivation can dissipate at any time. Cultivation method: Hunyuan art. Martial art: none. Su Chen was speechless. Looking at the system interface, he suddenly wanted to ask, System, are you being serious? Oh, I noticed the novice gift packs for other people were all kinds of divine artifacts and skills. Why haven't I found my package yet? Given his current condition, if he wanted to survive, he could only place his hopes on the novice gift pack of the system. Ding! The system currently does not provide gift packs for the novices. Su Chen didn't know what to say. I thought you were awesome after the introduction, but I didn't expect you to be a knockoff. He could not help but complain after hearing the system's cold mechanical voice. This system was manufactured in the fake Silicon Valley, right? It didn't even have gift packs for the novices. He didn't have a novice gift pack and could not move at all. It could be said that there was no difference whether he had this system or not. In the end, he would eventually be dead. But, just as Su Chen was about to admit it, the system's voice sounded in his mind again. Ding! Congratulations on being bragged about by others. The brag is level white. Bragging content. Senior brother Su Chen will definitely return to normal, 1/25. Su Chen frowned and looked up at the space in front of him. A screen of light appeared in front of him. The words that showed on the screen were exactly what the system said in his mind. They were so eye-catching that it was difficult to ignore them. It is indeed a knockoff system. This notification method is really special. Su Chen muttered to himself, feeling ridiculous. Ads by PubFuture. However, it was actually quite unique. But, although this system is quite a knockoff, it looks like there's some hope. 25 people. With the connections that the original host has built in the outer sect for so many years, it shouldn't take long, Su Chen thought to himself. He had already guessed why someone boasted about the fact that the toxins in his body were cleansed. Among the outer disciples of the Great Mystery Sect, the original host was considered a little genius. Moreover, his family background was quite good. The family behind him was in actual charge of the city. Not to mention that he never hid his cultivation experience, often communicated with other outer disciples, and never put on airs as a senior brother. That was the reason he was very popular among the outer disciples. The news that he was attacked by a Chi Si realm beast and his meridians were broken had spread throughout the entire outer sect of the Great Mystery Sect. Presumably, these people who were bragging about him were his junior brothers and sisters. Bragging content. Senior brother Su Chen will definitely return to normal, 2/25. Bragging content. Senior brother Su Chen will definitely return to normal, 3/25. Opening square bracket ellipsis closing square bracket. The system's voice kept ringing in Su Chen's mind. The characters on the virtual interface in front of him also began to jump rapidly. Ellipsis. At the same time, in the outer sect of the Great Mystery Sect, about 3 kilometers away from Su Chen's residence, a group of outer disciples gathered together and discussed Su Chen's matter. Senior brother Su Chen is really unlucky. He met a level 3 Chi Si realm beast when he went out to train. Yeah, this is really unexpected. I heard from Elder Xie it seemed that someone deliberately set senior brother Su Chen up and that was why he met that demonic beast. Deliberately? What do you mean? It seemed like someone from the Everlasting Sect didn't like senior brother Su Chen, so they set him up. As soon as he finished speaking, the surrounding people instantly fell silent. Everyone knew that the Great Mystery Sect and the Everlasting Sect didn't get along. Their disciples often had conflicts, and it was a common occurrence. But they never dared to kill people in public. However, to everyone's surprise, they actually dared to set up a trap deliberately. Hee, I don't believe that senior brother Su Chen is injured. At this moment, a disciple dressed in the outer sect uniform of the Great Mystery Sect said coldly. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone looked at him in confusion. After all, even the elders said that Su Chen's meridians were broken, and he would probably never be able to cultivate again. Ads by PubFuture. Contact. Twos. Sitemap. Donate. Chapter 2. Senior brother Su Chen is one of our outer sect's geniuses. Although he is at level 7 of Qi Gathering Realm and can't defeat that level 3 Qi Si Realm beast, he will definitely be able to escape. And with the help from Elder Xie. How could senior brother Su Chen be injured? The reason why the elder said that is definitely because he doesn't want us to go out early to gain experience. That's right. It's impossible for him to be injured. After that, there was immediately a murmur of agreement from the surrounding crowd. They had all seen Su Chen's true strength, so they naturally did not believe that Su Chen was injured, not to mention the rumor that Su Chen's meridians were broken. Even so, even if senior brother Su Chen is really injured, it must be a minor injury. Everyone, don't forget what happened to senior brother Su Chen the first 2 times. Yes, we have to believe that he will definitely make it this time. Everyone's eyes lit up after they heard that. A year ago, Su Chen faced 2 life-threatening situations. The first time was when he was out on a mission and accidentally barged into a demonic sect stronghold. At that time, everyone thought that he would definitely die. However, the next day, there was news that a righteous sect's martial arts expert had passed by that place and destroyed all the demonic sect's strongholds. As a result, Su Chen obtained all the resources in the stronghold, and his realm increased by 2 levels. The other time was when he was on his way home and met the notorious Blood Demon Sect elder. Seeing Su Chen's extraordinary talent, the elder wanted to extract his blood essence and refine it. When the news came back, everyone in the Great Mystery Sect thought Su Chen was really going to die. But, what surprised everyone was, 3 days later, Su Chen returned to the sect alive, without any injuries. His cultivation also advanced by leaps and bounds, with a breakthrough of 3 levels in a row. This had happened twice in a row, which made everyone in the Great Mystery Sect curious about Su Chen. From then on, no one was worried that Su Chen would face any danger outside. This incident happened very suddenly, but all the outer sect disciples who had a good relationship with Su Chen thought that he would not be injured at all. Oh, I heard that the Everlasting Sect was spreading rumors that senior brother Su Chen would die in less than a day. At this moment, a young outer sect disciple suddenly spoke. As soon as he finished talking, everyone's expressions instantly turned cold. Humph, those Everlasting Sect bastards. When I make a breakthrough to Qi Si Realm, I will definitely settle the score with them. An outer sect disciple looked in the direction of the Everlasting Sect and said indignantly. Su Chen treated him well and often gave him some cultivation resources. Therefore, when he heard that Su Chen's accident might be related to the Everlasting Sect and they even spread rumors about Su Chen, he couldn't help but feel angry. Alright, The elders will investigate whether this matter is fixed by the everlasting sect disciples. Everything will come to light when we see senior brother Su Chen. We must not be rash. A handsome outer sect disciple said at this moment, looking at the indignant disciples, grim-faced. Most of the disciples here had received Su Chen's favor. Therefore, they respected Su Chen very much. Hearing the everlasting sect smear Su Chen's name, they were naturally unhappy. The everlasting sect wants us to act impulsively this time and cause a war between the two sects. We shouldn't come to their door now, we can't let them have their way. Otherwise, even the elders won't be able to save us. After that, Cao Yun glanced in the direction of Su Chen's residence. Su Chen had a good relationship with him and often gave him advice on cultivation. As the person close to Su Chen, and also the leader of the people present, Cao Yun naturally had to be responsible for these junior brothers and sisters. What if they really rushed to the everlasting sect in a fit of anger? At that time, he would be a sinner of the sect. Don't worry, senior brother Su Chen will be fine. I believe everyone here knows about his previous 2 experiences. He has the legendary heavenly Tao Providence on him. He will be fine. Although Elder Xie has no way out until now, we have to believe in senior brother Su, Cao Yun said firmly. That's right, we have to believe in senior brother Su Chen. Perhaps he will benefit from this disaster and directly enter the 8th level of the Qi gathering realm. Just as Cao Yun finished speaking, a disciple spoke up. After that, the other disciples present echoed. Perhaps by the time we reach senior brother Su Chen's residence, he'll completely recover, Cao Yun said with a smile. Then, he led the disciples toward Su Chen's residence. Ellipsis. At the same time, in Su Chen's residence, bragging content. Senior brother Su Chen will definitely return to normal, 13/25. Bragging content. Senior brother Su Chen will definitely return to normal, 14/25. Ellipsis. Ding. Congratulations on being bragged about by others. The brag is level white. Bragging content. Reaching the 8th level of the Qi gathering realm, 1/30. Bragging content. Reaching the 8th level of the Qi gathering realm, 2/30. At this moment, a series of system notifications sounded. Su Chen was stunned when he heard the system's voice. It seemed that the connections that the original host had built in the past were not in vain. If people kept bragging about him like this, not only would his injuries recover, but he would break through 1 level in his cultivation realm. Bragging content. Senior brother Su Chen will definitely return to normal, 22/25. Bragging content. Reaching the 8th level of the Qi gathering realm, 10/30. Opening square bracket ellipsis closing square bracket. A series of notifications rang out in Su Chen's mind. Buzz. Very quickly, a majestic spiritual energy exploded in his body. The broken meridians were quickly repaired. In the blink of an eye, he was back to normal. Check for new stories on Note VL bin C 0 meters. Feeling the changes in his body, Su Chen could not help but let out a long sigh of relief. Soon after, he slowly got up from the bed, his bones making cracking sounds. In the next moment, the system, which had been ringing in his mind, stopped. The originally meager spiritual power in his body suddenly stagnated. Immediately after that, boom, a rumbling sound came from Su Chen's body. The room suddenly was lit up brightly. Endless divine light rushed out from his dantian, making deafening sounds like a tsunami. In Su Chen's dantian, the spiritual energy seemed to be gushing out endlessly and turned into divine light, illuminating the entire room with golden colors. The powerful spiritual energy flowed through Su Chen's limbs and bones, causing his body to undergo earth-shattering changes. Boom! A dull sound came from Su Chen's body as if some shackles in his body had been broken. He instantly felt the world become clear as if he had ascended to immortality. That was really intoxicating. The 8th level of the Qi gathering realm. Chapter 3. The 8th level of the Qi gathering realm. Su Chen was delighted when feeling the spiritual energy surging in his body. Not only had he fully recovered from his injuries, but his cultivation had also broken through to another level thanks to the system. This system, it was still useful. Wait, Su Chen paused. In the next second, the system notification sounded in his mind. Ding! Congratulations on being bragged about by others. The brag is level purple. Bragging content. Senior brother Su Chen is blessed with heavenly Tao Providence, 1/10,000th. Level purple. Blessed with heavenly Tao Providence. These junior brothers and sisters are really good at bragging. Su Chen shook his head slightly when hearing the system notification in his mind. If he wanted to be blessed with heavenly Tao providence, he needed to be bragged about by 10,000 people. Although the original host had some connections in the Great Mystery Sect, it was too difficult to scrape together 10,000 people. The heavenly Tao providence. This was the protagonist's golden finger. It was something that could be encountered but not sought. Usually, if you were not born with that, it would be very difficult for you to have it in this lifetime. Only those chosen by the heavenly Tao could have the blessing of the heavenly Tao providence. Those who had the blessing of the heavenly Tao providence could even influence the prosperity of a faction. The reason why the original host of this body was able to escape death twice in a row was because of the blessing of the heavenly Tao providence. Su Chen guessed that the reason why the original host died this time was probably that he had wasted most of the heavenly Tao providence in the previous 2 times. However, at this moment, there was a sharp rap on the door. Bang, bang. Then, an anxious voice sounded, "Senior brother Su, this is Cao Yun. I came to see you with our junior brothers." Cao Yun. Hearing this voice, Su Chen carefully recalled. Su Chen had some impression of this person who had a good relationship with the original host. New N0VEL chapters are published on N0VELBIN, Coprometer. This person must be the one who started bragging about the removal of the toxins in his body. Ads by PubFuture. Thinking of this, Su Chen stood up, opened the door, and walked out of the thatched cottage. Senior brother Su, Senior brother Su. Many outer sect disciples shouted in surprise when they saw Su Chen. Senior brother Su, are you all right? Cao Yun, standing in front of the crowd, looked at Su Chen who was unharmed, and asked. Although Su Chen's face was still a little pale, his aura was very stable. It did not seem like he was injured. I've completely recovered, Su Chen said casually. Again, this remark made many disciples present panicked. The same thing happened again. The disciples present respected Su Chen very much, so they would not have any doubts about him. Moreover, judging from Su Chen's aura, he did not seem to be lying. Ding, 10 people have been detected to have the headcanon that you are blessed by the heavenly Tao providence. Blessed with the heavenly Tao providence, 18 10,000ths. The system notification sounded again. The characters on the light screen also jumped rapidly. Some of the disciples here had just joined the Great Mystery Sect this year. At first, they did not believe that Su Chen was blessed with the heavenly Tao providence. After all, his 2 adventures were only hearsay, and they had never seen it with their own eyes. But now that Su Chen was safe and sound, the new disciples who had been suspicious secretly agreed with Cao Yun's words. Have you buried the other 4 junior brothers in my team? Su Chen glanced at the crowd and asked. Everyone froze at his question. The originally joyous atmosphere was instantly shattered, and everyone felt sorrow at heart. This time, there were 5 people on this team. Su Chen was the leader, leading the other 4 disciples into the desolate mountains. But in the end, he was the only one who came back alive. They have been buried in the desolate mountains, Cao Yun said sadly. That's good. Are the people from the everlasting sect still in the desolate mountains? Su Chen asked after giving a little nod. Senior brother Su, is this really related to the everlasting sect? Cao Yun's expression changed when he heard this and he hurriedly asked. Yes. Su Chen nodded gently. Ads by PubFuture. At least, according to the memories of the original host, this matter was related to the everlasting sect. No, they should be on their way back to the sect. Hatred appeared on Cao Yun's face as he spoke. When Su Chen heard this, he pondered. He was originally prepared to chase after them for revenge, but it seemed that he would not have the chance now. Although it was never too late for a gentleman to take revenge, Su Chen never considered himself a gentleman. Then I'll take revenge in the future. Now I should use the system to make myself stronger and increase my strength, Su Chen thought to himself. Everyone knew that the fantasy world was an extremely dangerous place. Only by becoming stronger could one keep his life. By the way, senior brother Su, what happened in the desolate mountains? Cao Yun suddenly asked at this moment. Other people also cast curious glances at Su Chen after that. When Su Chen heard this, he carefully thought about his previous memories and explained, the everlasting sect lured a 3rd-level Chi-Si realm beast at the entrance of the desolate mountains. And we accidentally. He did not hide anything and simply explained what had happened. Bastards. All the disciples said indignantly. I'll definitely take revenge by myself. Su Chen glanced at everyone and said. This was his well-thought-out decision, which would deepen the trust of the disciples in him. Once the trust level reached its peak, they would become his loyal followers and provide him with the energy he needed to make the brags come true. Su Chen already had a deep understanding of the system's functions and limitations. He knew that if he wanted to become stronger, the best way was to develop believers. When there were only 10 or 20 people boasting about him, the speed at which he became stronger might be very slow. However, if there were tens of thousands, or even millions, or even tens of millions of believers boasting about him, then his achievements would be unimaginable. Therefore, trust was very important. After all, the system's first requirement was that the person who bragged about him had to be sincere. If it was a show of flattery, even if there were billions of people, the brags would not be true. Just as Su Chen had expected, after he said this, everyone looked at him gratefully. A few female disciples even showed gratitude in their eyes. Although Su Chen tried to take revenge for himself, wasn't he also taking revenge for his 4 dead junior brothers? Senior brother Su, your aura seems to be even denser than before, an ordinary-looking female disciple said while looking at Su Chen. Su Chen looked at his junior sister approvingly, which meant he was very satisfied with what she said. This junior sister's remark gave everyone an opportunity to imagine. After my injuries recovered, I gained a little enlightenment and accidentally broke through. Su Chen's expression was calm as if he was talking about something very ordinary. A little enlightenment, accidentally. The corners of the disciples' mouths twitched after they heard what Su Chen said. So, senior brother Su, are you now at the 8th level of Qi Gathering Realm? That junior sister continued to ask. Chapter 4. But then she shook her head and continued, no, I've seen other senior brothers who were at the 8th level of the Qi Gathering Realm before. Their auras are not as vigorous as yours. Senior brother Su, did you break through to the 9th level of the Qi Gathering Realm? This junior sister had a shocked expression while talking. Su Chen was noncommittal on this question. At this time, he naturally could not admit it. If he did, that would be an obvious violation of the system's rules. After all, he was not in the 9th level of the Qi Gathering Realm. Senior brother Su Chen is definitely at the 9th level of the Qi Gathering Realm. Cao Yun was also shocked. He had thought that Su Chen had broken through to the 8th level of the Qi Gathering Realm at most. However, judging from senior brother Su Chen's indifferent expression, he must be in the 9th level of the Qi Gathering Realm. Ding! Congratulations on being bragged about by others. The brag is level white. Bragging content. Reaching the 9th level of the Qi Gathering Realm, 135th. The system notification sounded again. Cao Yun believed that Su Chen had already reached the 9th level of the Qi Gathering Realm, which was why he was flattering him. When the other disciples heard Cao Yun's words, they also agreed from the bottom of their hearts. The characters on the virtual interface jumped rapidly. In an instant, the progress bar was full. Bragging content. Reaching the 9th level of the Qi Gathering Realm, 35/35. A stream of energy gushed out from Su Chen's dantian and spread to his limbs and bones. Boom! A powerful aura emitted from Su Chen's body. Sure enough, this is the aura of the 9th level of the Qi Gathering Realm. Cao Yun took a deep breath and slowly exhaled. This kind of aura was not new to him. He had felt it many times from the other senior brothers of the Great Mystery Sect. Ads by PubFuture. Senior brother Su is so powerful. I told you, senior brother Su is a lucky man. Not only did he heal his internal injuries, but he also broke through to the 9th level of the Qi Gathering Realm in one fell swoop. The eyes of the junior sisters present were glaring with luster. In their opinions, this was Su Chen's response to the crowd, indicating that he was indeed a level 9 Qi Gathering Realm cultivator. In fact, Su Chen only made a sudden breakthrough and did not have time to control his aura. Senior brother Su's talent is extraordinary, and he's even blessed with the heavenly Tao providence. I wonder what his future achievements will be. I need to keep in close touch with senior brother Su Chen, Cao Yun thought to himself. He had to think of a way to ride Su Chen's coattails. He believed that in the near future, this big fish would definitely become a giant. A person blessed with the heavenly Tao providence was destined to have extraordinary achievements in the future. He didn't expect to become senior brother Su Chen's right-hand man. As long as he could receive a little blessing, his future achievements would surpass the majority of other cultivators. Moreover, Su Chen wasn't like the other senior brothers who always hid their own cultivation insights. As long as the junior brothers sincerely asked for advice, Su Chen would give them some guidance. It was very difficult to find another senior brother like Su Chen, and it was completely his luck to meet Su Chen. Cao Yun was not the only one who had such a thought. New chapters will be fully updated at novel.com. Su Chen's previous 3 adventures, the good impression he had left on others in the past, and his statement of taking revenge personally this time made everyone's trust in him increase and planted a seed of trust in their hearts. Senior brother Su, you haven't told Elder Xie about your recovery, have you? Cao Yun's eyes lit up as he hurriedly spoke. No, I was just about to inform Elder Xie when you came. Su Chen shook his head and said. Senior brother Su, you've just recovered from your injuries and made a breakthrough of 2 levels in a row. It's better to nurse yourself back to health first. Leave these trivial matters to me. Cao Yun's tone was filled with anticipation. Su Chen nodded slightly and said, all right, then I'll have to trouble junior brother Cao. Cao Yun was right. He had made a breakthrough of 2 levels in a row and indeed needed time to maintain health. Su Chen could tell that Cao Yun wanted to curry favor with him. If he wanted to develop believers, he needed people like Cao Yun. After obtaining Su Chen's approval, Cao Yun dispersed the surrounding disciples before heading to the Elders' Hall. The other disciples also returned to their rooms, and Su Chen turned around and went back to his thatched cottage, starting to sort out the memories in his mind. Ellipsis. Ads by PubFuture. At the Elders' Hall in the outer sect. After hearing Cao Yun's report, Xie could not help but sigh, he has quite good luck. Although Xie was an outer sect elder, his status in the Great Mystery sect wasn't low. He didn't have the time to care about all the outer sect disciples. Su Chen was one of the few people he paid attention to. Ever since Su Chen returned safely from the demonic sect and had a breakthrough of 2 levels, Xie had begun to pay attention to him. When Su Chen met the elder of the Blood Demon sect and managed to survive for the 2nd time and even increases his strength, Xie was certain that Su Chen was blessed with providence. This time, he was even more determined. Not only was Su Chen blessed with providence, but it was also not something ordinary. Although Su Chen could not compare to those legendary figures blessed with great providence, Su Chen's future achievements would definitely be above his. The best way to deal with such people was to rope them in and invest before they grew up. It was the most wrong thing to make enemies of those who were blessed with providence. Of course, if the two were enemies from the very beginning, then it would be a different story. Are you sure that the injuries in his body have completely healed? Xie suddenly came to his senses after marveling at Su Chen's ability. As an elder, he was absolutely more knowledgeable than Cao Yun. He had seen countless level 9 Qi-gathering realm cultivators and knew how powerful they were in this realm. As for how powerful a 9th level Qi-gathering realm cultivator was, Cao Yun had to rely entirely on his subjective judgment. After all, he was only a level 5 Qi-gathering realm cultivator. I'm sure that senior brother Su Chen's injuries have been completely healed, Cao Yun said after thinking for a moment. Did he enter the forbidden stage? Xie muttered to himself with a look of surprise. Cao Yun was jolted within when hearing this. Cao Yun once read about the so-called forbidden stage in the ancient books in the library pavilion. It was the performance of a major realm reaching its peak, perfect and flawless. There were only 9 levels in the Qi-gathering realm, and after the 9th level was the Qi-Si realm. There was no 10th level between them. Therefore, the forbidden stage was also referred to as the 9th level. However, compared to the other level 9 cultivators, the spiritual power of the cultivators in the forbidden stage was more vigorous and their foundation was incomparably firm. There were no flaws in their cultivation. They were invincible in the same realm and could even fight across realms. Go and call Su Chen over. I have something to ask him, Elder Xie instructed Cao Yun after thinking for a moment. Got it. After that, Cao Yun's expression turned serious. Then, he hurried towards Su Chen's residence. Chapter 5. Looking at Cao Yun's departing figure, Elder Xie stroked his beard and pondered. He did not think that Su Chen could really reach the legendary forbidden stage in the Qi-gathering realm. The probability of such a thing happening was extremely low. Even a rare genius would not be able to reach the forbidden stage in the Qi-gathering realm. It was just a random guess that he had made. However, Cao Yun, who had just left, did not know. At this moment, Elder Xia's words were still echoing in his mind. Based on Elder Xia's tone and demeanor, coupled with Cao Yun's own headcanon, he was now certain that Su Chen was a super genius who had stepped into the forbidden stage in the Qi-gathering realm. Since Elder Xia said so, it must be true. Senior brother Su Chen is indeed blessed with the heavenly Tao providence. He can actually step into the legendary forbidden stage. I definitely have to ride his coattails. The more Cao Yun thought about it, the more excited he became. All new chapters on November 11 and calm. He felt that his decision to please senior brother Su Chen was the best decision he had ever made in his life. Not only did Su Chen have amazing moments of serendipity, but his talent was also peerless. If one wanted to reach the forbidden stage in a single realm, it was impossible to rely solely on luck. One also needed sufficient talent as support. Su Chen lacked neither luck nor talent, so he was destined to be extraordinary in the future. Cao Yun was filled with excitement along the way. Soon, he met his junior brothers halfway. After a simple conversation, Cao Yun told them that Su Chen had advanced to the forbidden stage. The forbidden stage? Senior brother Cao, are you talking about the forbidden stage that is known to make someone invincible among those of the same level? What, did Elder Xie say it himself? Senior brother Su Chen is indeed blessed with the heavenly Tao providence. That's incredible, ellipsis. Ding, congratulations on being bragged about by others. The brag is level blue. Bragging content. The forbidden stage, 1/100th. Su Chen, who was cultivating in the thatched cottage, heard the system notification in his mind. He slowly opened his eyes. The forbidden stage. Su Chen muttered to himself softly as he listened to the system notification echoing in his mind. 100 people, that is not so difficult. Su Chen murmured to himself. Bragging content. The forbidden stage, 21/100ths. Not long after, Cao Yun came to convey Elder Xia's message. After the message was delivered, Cao Yun left. Su Chen could clearly feel that the way Cao Yun looked at him had changed greatly. Bragging content. The forbidden stage, 31/100ths. Thinking about how he was suddenly bragged about entering the forbidden stage, Su Chen immediately understood. You were really lucky, Elder Xie said after sizing Su Chen up. As a man of great insight, Elder Xie could tell at a glance that Su Chen's injuries had completely recovered. Elder, you are flattering me, Su Chen said humbly. Elder Xie knew very well of the original host's two fortuitous adventures, so he deduced that Su Chen was blessed with providence. Thank you, Elder Xie. Su Chen cupped his hands slightly. Although Elder Xie was stronger than Su Chen, he was still just an outer elder of the Great Mystery Sect. Even if he personally came out to negotiate, he couldn't do anything to the Everlasting Sect disciples. Usually, this kind of thing was usually left to the outer sect deacons to deal with. Since Elder Xie was willing to personally interfere, he seemed to have taken a stand on this matter. Su Chen didn't reject Elder Xia's gesture of goodwill. With the protection of an elder in the Great Mystery Sect, it would be much more convenient to do anything. Right, there's something I need to remind you of. Elder Xie looked at Su Chen and paused for a brief moment before continuing. The reason why you're targeted by the Everlasting Sect disciples should be because you are blessed with the Heavenly Tao Providence. No one will easily provoke a person blessed with the Heavenly Tao Providence unless the two parties are originally enemies. It's a good thing for us that you are blessed with the Heavenly Tao Providence, but this is something that the Everlasting Sect doesn't want to see. They're trying to consume your providence. Though you fell on your feet this time, you may face even more danger next time. At this point, Elder Xia's expression gradually became solemn. Chapter 6. Elder Xie had been observing whether Su Chen was blessed with the Heavenly Tao Providence, but he did not dare to make a conclusion. Even after this incident, he could not guarantee that Su Chen was the one blessed with the Heavenly Tao Providence. The only thing he was certain of was that Su Chen's providence couldn't be underestimated. In the future, even if Su Chen did not become a legendary figure, it should be very easy for him to be an inner sect elder. Visit n0vl/b opening parenthesis I closing parenthesis opening parenthesis n closing parenthesis.com for the best novel reading experience. The Great Mystery Sect was one of the top sects in the Dachu dynasty in the East Barrens, and the inner sect elders had very high status. The Everlasting Sect should have your information, but we, the Great Mystery Sect, also have the information about their disciples who are blessed with great providence. Elder Xie flicked his finger while talking. A jade slip appeared out of thin air and darted toward Su Chen. Su Chen subconsciously reached out to catch it. Before he could take the initiative to release his aura, a vigorous force gushed out from his body. Elder Xia's pupils suddenly constricted, and his smile froze on his face when he saw this. Elder Xia's eyes were filled with shock. However, the truth was right in front of him. Su Chen had indeed entered the forbidden stage, making a breakthrough of 2 levels in a row and even entering the forbidden stage. What kind of freak was he? For a moment, Elder Xie was a little confused. How did you break through 2 levels in a row and even enter the forbidden stage? Elder Shia's voice trembled slightly as he spoke. If Su Chen had spent 3 to 4 months collecting himself before entering the forbidden stage, he would have accepted the fact and would even have praised Su Chen as a peerless genius. But how long had it been? 1 day, 2 days. No, it had only been 10 hours since Su Chen was injured. It was nothing if Su Chen leapt from the 7th level to the 9th level in 10 hours, but he actually entered the forbidden stage. Even if he was blessed with great providence, it was impossible for him to do this. Because this had nothing to do with luck, it had to do with talent and insight. Freak. He is definitely a freak. Elder Xie shouted crazily in his heart. In the past, he only paid attention to Su Chen's providence and seemed to neglect the fact that Su Chen was insightful and talented. I don't know either. When the toxins were cleansed, there were flashes of insight in my mind, so I seized the opportunity to cultivate. And when I came back to my senses, it turned out to be. Su Chen shrugged helplessly. He did feel helpless, having little time to react to the unexpected advance to the forbidden stage and the release of aura in an instant. Enlightenment was a cultivation state that every cultivator dreamed of. Unfortunately, it was something that could only be encountered by chance. Elder Xie had never had a single epiphany since he started cultivating. Looking at Su Chen's helpless expression, he had the urge to slap him to death. You go back first, I need a moment. Elder Xie tried his best to suppress the urge to kill Su Chen and slowly turned around. He really didn't want to see Su Chen's helpless face, nor did he want to stay with Su Chen anymore. Because if he spent 1 more minute with Su Chen, he was afraid that he would get really annoyed. Su Chen, he really didn't know what was good for him. If Elder Xie could gain enlightenment once, he would probably jump with joy. However, Su Chen gave a helpless look. He really didn't know what was good for him. Seeing the change in Elder Xia's expression, Su Chen was a little confused. He shrugged and restrained his aura. Then, he cupped his hands slightly towards Elder Xia's back. I'll take my leave. With that, he turned around and walked out of the hall. Elder Xie gradually composed himself after Su Chen disappeared from the hall. Chapter 7. If Su Chen is really blessed with great providence, then the Great Mystery Sect may achieve better development in the future. Elder Xie thought to himself. He was even more determined to invest in Su Chen. Su Chen, who had left the Elders' Hall in the outer sect, also heaved a sigh of relief. To be honest, if Elder Xie had asked for more details, Su Chen would definitely have been exposed. Because he hadn't thought of an excuse yet. Fortunately, Elder Xie didn't ask further. Su Chen was also happy to see this. Anyway, he had passed the test of Elder Xie. After returning to his thatched cottage, Su Chen sat cross-legged on his bed and carefully sensed the changes this time. Entering the forbidden stage made his dantian even wider as if it had reached a certain limit. Boundless spiritual energy filled every part of his dantian, and it was more condensed and uniform than before. Is this the legendary forbidden stage? Feeling the surging power in his body, Su Chen was a little excited. Martial arts, weapons, and battle experience were all related to a cultivator's strength. Before breaking through to the Qi-Si realm, he could still improve himself in these aspects. As long as he made good use of the system, his strength would soar in a short period of time, and his chances of taking revenge would also increase. The jade slip that Elder Xie gave him not only contained information about the people blessed with great providence in the everlasting sect, but it also contained another piece of information. That was, a small portion of the everlasting sect's disciples had methods to deal with the people blessed with great providence from the Great Mystery Sect. Su Chen should have met them before, and the probability of meeting them next time was also very high. In the beginning, they had only done it in secret, trying not to give themselves away. But now, they did it in the open. The Great Mystery Sect also gave them a taste of their own medicine and formed a team to target the hotshots blessed with the great providence from the everlasting sect. Since Su Chen survived this time and his strength increased greatly, he believed that the next time he met people from the everlasting sect, he would be attacked even more fiercely. Even if he didn't seek revenge, the everlasting sect's disciples wouldn't let him go. Therefore, increasing his own strength was always the most important thing. If I use the system properly, my strength will be able to increase rapidly. Right now, there's a suitable opportunity. Su Chen exited his cultivation state and pondered silently. In 3 days, the monthly outer sect trial would begin. The outer sect trial was divided into 3 aspects: cultivation, actual combat, and talent. After passing these 3 tests, one would be able to obtain the most precious reward that the great mystery sect left for the outer sect disciples, and would also be promoted. No matter which sect it was, the resources obtained by outer sect disciples were often not the best, and the sect would not give a large number of resources to the outer sect. Therefore, many times, if the outer sect disciples wanted to obtain good resources, they had to complete sect missions. The more difficult the sect's mission was, the more precious the reward would be. For outer sect disciples, the only way to obtain high returns with low risk was the monthly outer sect trial. However, not everyone could grasp this opportunity. The minimum requirement of cultivation in the first test was the 9th level of the Qi-gathering realm, and one could not be older than 20 years old. Most of the outer sect disciples would be screened out in the first test. Su Chen had absolute confidence in passing the trial, but his goal was not for the reward, but for the brags of others. This was a very good opportunity, a chance to subtly hint at others to brag about him. Although the system had clearly stated that he could not explicitly hint at others to brag about him, he thought that it would not have much influence. Sometimes, it was easier to make people have a headcanon with a cryptic hint. And the invisible headcanon was often the most effective. The more headcanons people had about him, the more exaggeratedly they would brag about him, and the faster his strength would be increased. Every outer sect trial would attract a lot of people, including disciples and inner sect elders. If he could seize this opportunity, he would definitely be able to improve greatly. However, the premise was that there were some of his loyal fans or fanatics among the crowd. Only people who had trust in him would brag about him sincerely. Therefore, in the 3 days before the outer sect trial, he did not plan to continue cultivating. Instead, he wanted to try his best to win more fans. Fin new chapters on Nov, LB and Calm. It was hard to achieve great improvement even if he kept cultivating day and night during these 3 days. Since he was considered blessed with providence after his 3 adventures, it was best for him to build up his prestige, or rather, to increase the trust of some of his fellow disciples in him, and to lay a good foundation for the worship and brags of his future billions of believers in these 3 days. Blessed with great providence, 69 10,000ths. Blessed with great providence, 70 10,000ths. The characters on the virtual interface jumped again. Su Chen knew that the news of his 3 adventures had gradually spread among the outer sect disciples. His fellow disciples, who had received his guidance and had trust in him, were willing to believe that he was blessed with great providence. This was especially true for those newbies who had just joined the great mystery sect not long ago and did not know too much about cultivation. How much I can improve will depend on my performance in these 3 days, Su Chen's eyes lit up as he whispered. After that, he stood up and walked out of the thatched hut, preparing to start his ambitious plan of developing believers among the nearby outer sect disciples. Chapter 8. As one of the top sects in the Dachu dynasty, the Great Mystery Sect was as prosperous as a large city. Other than the standard martial arts field, scripture pavilion, and library pavilion, there were also institutions such as the Law Enforcement Hall, Weapon Forging Hall, and Medicine Refinery Hall. Due to the large number of disciples, there was even a trading market within the Great Mystery Sect. Because the sect was powerful and occupied a very large area, every outer sect disciple had their own thatched hut. Su Chen had just left the thatched cottage not long ago. Before he could take another few steps, he met many familiar fellow disciples. Senior Brother Su, Senior Brother Su. When the disciples saw Su Chen, they greeted him enthusiastically. Su Chen smiled and nodded in response. In this area of the outer sect, many disciples had received Su Chen's guidance and were very respectful to him. Is that Senior Brother Su Chen? Sure enough, he's handsome. Follow new stories at NoVELB in Com. Senior Brother Su Chen is so good looking. Don't you have questions about cultivation? Now that Senior Brother Su Chen is here, why aren't you going to ask him for advice? Is it really possible? Definitely. Senior Brother Su Chen is a kind person. As long as you sincerely ask for advice, he will definitely give you some pointers. Walking along the bluestone paved road, the figures of the outer sect disciples gradually increased. From time to time, Su Chen could hear some conversations. Senior Brother Su. At this moment, a timid and ethereal voice rang out. Su Chen's heart skipped a beat. He knew that his chance had come. However, his expression remained calm. He slowly stopped and turned around. He saw a clean-looking, delicate girl walking towards him under the push of several female disciples. Junior sister, what's wrong? Su Chen gave a breeze-like smile and asked in a gentle voice. Unlike the other senior brothers and sisters who were cold and had a faint sense of superiority, Su Chen's smile eased the tension of this junior sister. Senior brother Su, I have a question about cultivation that I want to ask you. This junior sister was a little shy. She did not dare to look directly at Su Chen with her big, watery eyes. What is it? I will definitely tell you all I know. Su Chen gently nodded and looked at his junior sister with a smile. He had never seen this girl before, so she must have just joined the Great Mystery Sect. Such a junior sister was the easiest to deceive. Oh, no, it was the easiest to make her build up trust in him. Really? Her eyes lit up when she heard this and asked excitedly. She thought she would be rejected again. Before this, she had already been rejected by several senior brothers and sisters. Su Chen nodded with a faint smile. Of course, it's true. Senior brother Su, I keep feeling that I can't use my full strength when I perform the Great Mystery Sword style. I asked the elders before, but I was unable to break through that barrier. Do you know why? She frowned slightly while talking, her face full of distress. There were many outer sect disciples in the Great Mystery Sect, but none of them had a master. But the outer sect elders would impart their skills and teach Tao to them collectively. However, the outer sect elders were so busy that they had limited time for teaching, and they could not answer every disciple's questions at all. This little junior sister had been bothered with questions, but the fellow disciples she was familiar with were pretty much on the same level as her, so they could not give her any guidance. She had been thoroughly disheartened after failing to consult 3 or 4 of her senior brothers and sisters. This time, she plucked up the courage to ask Su Chen for advice after being egged on by a few fellow disciples she had a good relationship with. When performing the Great Mystery Sword style, you must control the speed of the circulation of your spiritual power. Your body must also maintain a high degree of physical coordination in order to unleash your full strength, Su Chen said gently while looking at her. The Great Mystery Sword style was the unique basic sword move of the Great Mystery Sect, and it was also a compulsory martial technique for the entry of the Great Mystery Sect. Of course, Su Chen had learned it before, and his skills were perfect. Such a small question was quite easy for him. How about this, you practice it for me on the spot? Su Chen looked at his junior sister's half-understanding expression and spoke again. Okay, she took a deep breath and replied in a clear voice. Then, she took a few steps back and pulled away from Su Chen. After that, she began to perform the Great Mystery Sword style. Clang! The long sword let out a series of humming sounds. The little junior sister's petite body began to dance. The spiritual power in her meridians circulated, stirring up the surrounding breeze. Even though she was only a level 3 Qi-gathering realm cultivator, the sound of her sword tearing through the air was enough to make the hair of mortals stand on end. Soon, the little junior sister finished practicing the entire set of Great Mystery Sword style. Su Chen looked at her and nodded. Just as he had guessed, with his current strength, it was not a problem for him to guide a level 3 junior sister. After that, he pointed out some of her cultivation problems and practiced the perfect Great Mystery Sword style for her on the spot. When the practice was over, she suddenly revealed an expression of dawning comprehension. Some of the questions that were difficult to understand were suddenly cleared up. I understand. Thank you, Senior Brother Su. Thank you so much. She bowed slightly to Su Chen with excitement. Seeing this, Su Chen smiled and waved his hand, indicating that this was a small matter. Then, he flicked his sleeves and walked forward. He had an imposing manner as if he was going to leave nothing behind after everything was done. Before he left, he saw the admiration in his little junior sister's big, watery eyes. He knew that he had won another little fangirl. He didn't lose anything in this process. Instead, he gained the favor of his junior sister and her friends. Ah Jing, am I right? Not only is senior brother Su Chen handsome, but he is also very approachable. He never hides his insights on cultivation. I'm already in love now. Senior brother Su Chen is simply too charming. Ah, who can refuse a handsome and charming senior brother? That's true. No one in the entire outer sect is more charming than senior brother Su Chen. Su Chen had just walked away when he heard the discussion of his junior sister's friends behind him. Yes, senior brother Su Chen is the most charming. He Jing looked at Su Chen's disappearing figure, and her beautiful eyes gleamed with luster. She had just joined the Great Mystery Sect and was only a level 3 Qi-gathering realm cultivator. The problem of the Great Mystery Sword style had troubled her for a long time. She had consulted 3 or 4 senior brothers and sisters, but without exception, they all ignored her. She didn't know how long it would take to understand the question just by her own exploration. Now, Su Chen's explanation and demonstration made her instantly enlightened. Handsome, talented, approachable. These were the labels that others gave Su Chen. If only the first glance could last forever. He Jing's favorable impression of Su Chen had reached its peak the first time they met. Chapter 9, Ancient God Level Appearance, 199th. Ancient God Level Appearance 299ths. Ancient God Level Appearance, 399ths. Not long after Su Chen left, the virtual interface popped up in front of him. Do all junior sisters like to brag so much? He looked at the virtual interface in front of him and muttered to himself. He knew without thinking that the people bragging about his appearance were definitely that junior sister and her fellow disciples who were close to her. Although they were not bragging about his strength, if he really had the appearance of an ancient god, it would still be of some help to him. At the very least, it would make it easier for him to gain the trust of others. Su Chen retracted his gaze, hid the virtual interface, and began to stroll around the outer sect disciples area. As soon as he appeared, many junior brothers and sisters came to ask him some questions about cultivation. Su Chen had already reached the 9th level of the Qi Gathering realm, and he had also stepped into the forbidden stage. In the entire outer sect, no one was his match. If an outer disciple could break through to the Qi Si realm before the age of 20, he or she would be able to enter the inner sect and become an inner disciple. Of course, they could also choose to participate in the outer sect trial and become inner sect disciples. If one could not pass the outer sect trial and break through to the Qi Si realm before the age of 25, they would be sent to help manage some of the sect's businesses. Most of the people who came to consult Su Chen were junior brothers and sisters of the 3rd or 4th level of the Qi Gathering realm. Su Chen was talented from the very beginning, and it was easy for him to guide these junior brothers and sisters. The outer sect disciples of the Great Mystery Sect were all taught by the outer sect elders. Usually, the elders only had an hour to answer their disciples' questions. However, there were many outer sect disciples in the Great Mystery Sect, and the elders couldn't take care of everyone. Therefore, individual guidance was extremely precious to them. Some junior brothers and sisters who did not have the chance to be guided by the outer sect elders would ask for help from their senior brothers and sisters. However, not every senior brother or sister was like Su Chen, willing to give them pointers. Many times, they would return disappointed. Though there were some warm-hearted senior brothers and sisters willing to give advice, they would still secretly hold back a trick or two in teaching skills. For the next 2 days, Su Chen walked around the outer sect disciples' residences to help them solve their problems. Senior brother Su is simply my lifesaver. I had a problem with my cultivation that had troubled me for a long time. I always couldn't have the chance to ask the elders. I was originally in despair, but senior brother Su gave me hope and cleared up my confusion. Me too. If it wasn't for senior brother Su's guidance, I'm afraid I would have wasted more time on some small problems. Not only is senior brother Su talented, but he's also extremely handsome. He never puts on airs as a senior brother. He's simply perfect. That's right. How could there be such a perfect man in this world? I want to marry senior brother Su. Come on, senior brother Su doesn't like men. Don't tell me you want to change his sexual orientation. Talented, handsome, easygoing, and blessed with great providence, senior brother Su Chen has so many good points. I swear, he's the most good-looking senior brother I've ever seen. Humph, I always have a good eye for men. There are many people who have a crush on senior brother Su. Save it. Don't forget you are 200 pounds. Ellipsis. Su Chen was already quite famous among the outer sect disciples, and he had guided many of his junior brothers and sisters in the past few days. Add to that his 3 adventures had spread through the sect, and his popularity among the outer sect disciples reached a small climax. On the way, he could hear some of his junior brothers and sisters praising him. Ancient God Level Appearance, 95/99ths. Ancient God Level Appearance, 96/99ths. Ancient God Level Appearance, 97/99ths. The characters on the virtual interface jumped crazily. In fact, this string of numbers had been increasing for the past 2 days, but right now it was about to reach its limit. Ancient God Level Appearance, 98/99ths. Ancient God Level Appearance, 99/99ths. Buzz. The progress bar was quickly filled up, and a strange energy was emitted from Su Chen's body. In an instant, his body proportion, skin color, and facial features had undergone slight changes at this moment. The changes were subtle, but Su Chen's temperament was improved to the extreme because of that. In an instant, he seemed to have the essence of the mountains and waters and the spirit of the world. The radiance of heaven and earth dimmed because of him. His temperament was otherworldly, as if a god had descended. Every strand of his hair exuded charm. A few birds on a nearby tree landed on Su Chen's shoulder and chirped happily as if they were celebrating something. Senior brother Su. Not far away, some junior brothers and sisters noticed Su Chen and their hearts skipped a beat when they saw him. They could clearly feel that Su Chen seemed to have undergone some kind of change, but they could not tell what it was. At this moment, the junior sisters felt that Su Chen was the image of their cultivation partners in their hearts. The junior brothers felt that Su Chen was the man they wanted to become the most. If many women thought that you were handsome, then you might really be a little handsome. However, if even men thought that you were handsome, then you were undeniably handsome. This was exactly true in Su Chen. It was hard to hate him just based on his appearance. The benefits of this change were very significant. After half a day, more and more junior brothers and sisters were attracted to this place. There were even many junior sisters who came purely for Su Chen's appearance. They had formed good opinions of him at first sight. After seeing Su Chen's calmness, elegance, and easygoing manner, these junior brothers and sisters felt that his entire body exuded charm. On the third day, Su Chen himself had no idea how many people had become his fans. The ancient god-level appearance made it easy for him to gain the favor and trust of others. Especially those junior brothers and sisters he had taught. Their trust and affection for him had completely turned into admiration. Amongst them, the little junior sister that Su Chen taught for the first time, He Jing, had become his #1 fangirl. From then on, she asked Su Chen 2 questions about cultivation, and all of them were perfectly solved by him. With gratitude and worship for Su Chen, she was about to become a fanatical believer. Also, Cao Yun became Su Chen's #1 fanboy. In the past few days, Su Chen had finally confirmed that the person who bragged about him entering the forbidden stage was Cao Yun. Moreover, Su Chen discovered that Cao Yun was a freak of head cannons. A crazy freak of head cannons. Just yesterday, Su Chen guided a junior brother under the watchful eyes of a large group of fangirls and fanboys. Cao Yun happened to be passing by the crowd. When he saw Su Chen, he frantically asked Su Chen if he wanted to participate in the outer sect trial. Su Chen nodded in affirmation, and then, these cover updated novels on NO versus ELB and COM. Cao Yun began to brag crazily in his mind. Since senior brother Su Chen is participating in the outer sect trial, he must be 100% sure that he can win. Then this outer sect trial is nothing to senior brother Su Chen. In Cao Yun's mind, Su Chen had already stepped into the forbidden stage in the Qi gathering realm. His strength was comparable to that of a Qi Si realm hotshot. This outer sect trial would be a piece of cake. Chapter 10, Passing the Outer Sect Trial with No Difficulty, Grand Attainment of Phantom Moon, 1/50. Passing the Outer Sect Trial with No Difficulty, Grand Attainment of Phantom Moon, 2/50. Ellipsis. All the junior brothers and sisters who were watching had long been filled with trust and good feelings for Su Chen. They agreed with Cao Yun's brag, so the progress bar was quickly filled. Passing the Outer Sect Trial with No Difficulty, Grand Attainment of Phantom Moon, 50/50. When the characters on the virtual interface disappeared, Su Chen felt as if he had an epiphany. Many comprehensions regarding movement techniques flooded into his mind. Phantom Moon was a movement technique in martial arts. Su Chen had just cultivated Phantom Moon for a short while and had only reached the small attainment. However, after Cao Yun boasted, he instantly improved to the grand attainment of Phantom Moon. Movement techniques were also a type of martial arts. In layman's terms, dodging and moving could also show a cultivator's strength. The stronger the movement technique, the easier it was to avoid all kinds of attacks. Movement techniques were also divided into heaven, earth, black, and yellow, 4 categories just like martial arts. Phantom Moon, which Su Chen cultivated, was a yellow-level upper-rank technique. If one reached grand attainment of Phantom Moon, even when facing attacks from all directions, he could find a suitable gap to dodge like a fish swimming in the sea and make use of every possible chance, making it difficult to be injured by others' sword. With my strength, it is certain that I will pass the outer sect trial. However, if I want to pass it without any difficulty, I need to reach grand attainment of movement techniques. When Cao Yun's brag came true, Su Chen finally understood. No difficulty meant passing the outer sect trial with 0 difficulties. It was easy for Su Chen to pass the outer sect trial without any pressure given his current strength. However, if he wanted to pass it without any difficulty, he would need to use grand attainment of yellow level upper rank Phantom Moon. The system shored up his weak point after making the conclusion. With senior brother Su Chen's talent and strength, you don't aim for the reward by participating in the outer sect trial, do you? Cao Yun asked tentatively. He was in awe of Su Chen, so he was very careful when asking this question. Su Chen raised his head and glanced at Cao Yun when hearing that question. What was this guy thinking again? Su Chen nodded, indicating that he was not here for the reward. However, he didn't give a detailed explanation. He did not participate in the outer sect trial just for the reward. More importantly, he needed to let the surrounding people brag about him so that he could obtain the corresponding reward. Of course, he couldn't say it out loud. However, Cao Yun's eyes lit up when Su Chen nodded in agreement. The rewards of the outer sect trial were very attractive. Because each of the top 5 would be rewarded with a C transformation pill. The C transformation pill could increase the success rate of a level 9 Qi Gathering Realm cultivator to break through to the Qi C realm by 50%. It was extremely attractive to level 9 Qi Gathering Realm cultivators. However, in Cao Yun's opinion, a C transformation pill was not attractive to Su Chen at all. Although Cao Yun was only a level 6 Qi Gathering Realm cultivator, he was more knowledgeable and experienced than many of his peers. He had understood a lot of things by flipping through many ancient books in the Great Mystery Sect Scripture Pavilion. He knew that when a cultivator entered the forbidden stage in the Qi Gathering Realm, the bottleneck that prevented this cultivator from advancing would disappear. In other words, as long as Su Chen absorbed and transformed enough spiritual energy, he would be able to break through to the Qi C realm. He did not need the C transformation pill to help him break through to the Qi C realm. That was because his chances of breaking through were 100%. Under such circumstances, why did he still participate in the outer sect trial? To become an inner disciple? No, if he wanted, he would be able to break through to the Qi C realm very soon and become an inner disciple. Cao Yun thought about it and could only think of one possibility. The reason why senior brother Su Chen participated in the outer sect trial was entirely for the mysterious stone tablet in the third test. The third test of the outer sect trial was about talent. The stone tablet was particularly used to test one's talent. However, the stone tablet could not only be used to test one's talent but it could also be used to comprehend many cultivation methods and martial arts. Whether or not one could comprehend the cultivation methods and martial arts in it depended on one's talent and providence. It was rumored that even most of the inner elders of the Great Mystery Sect could not comprehend the information in the stone tablet. The reason why senior brother Su Chen is going to participate in the outer sect trial must be for the cultivation methods and martial arts in the mysterious stone tablet. Cao Yun said with absolute certainty in his mind. I heard that if one wants to comprehend the cultivation methods and martial arts from that mysterious stone tablet, it is not only related to one's talent but also related to one's providence. Senior brother Su Chen is a person blessed with great providence. Doesn't that mean that this time, Cao Yun kept using his imagination, and the more he thought about it, the more excited he became. Seeing Cao Yun's increasingly excited expression, Su Chen knew that this guy must be secretly imagining something again. However, Cao Yun did not brag at this moment, and the virtual interface did not appear in front of Su Chen. Therefore, he did not know what was in Cao Yun's head. Su Chen shook his head and looked away. A freak of head cannons like Cao Yun was exactly what he needed now. Seeing that no one came forward to ask for advice, he stood up and left. The black level lower rank cultivation methods and martial arts. No, the black level middle rank or even the upper rank cultivation methods and martial arts. With senior brother Su Chen's talent and providence, he will definitely be able to comprehend the black level middle and upper rank cultivation methods and martial arts. Cao Yun said as he could not suppress the excitement in his heart while looking at Su Chen's disappearing figure. Senior brother Cao, what is the black level middle and upper rank? Did senior brother Su Chen master some black level middle and upper rank cultivation methods and martial arts? Hearing this, the few outer sect disciples who were familiar with Cao Yun looked at him in confusion. Some of the disciples who were about to leave stopped and also looked at him curiously. Not everyone liked to imagine things crazily just like Cao Yun. Therefore, they did not understand why Cao Yun said that excitedly. Did you all hear it when I asked senior brother Su Chen just now? Cao Yun looked at them and asked. They nodded with puzzled faces. It's no secret that senior brother Su Chen has stepped into the forbidden stage in the Qi Gathering Realm, right? Cao Yun continued to ask. They nodded again, feeling even more confused. Cao Yun was the one who spread the news that senior brother Su Chen had stepped into the forbidden stage. So, why did he ask this question now? There is no bottleneck for cultivators who have stepped into the forbidden stage to break through to the Qi realm. In other words, senior brother Su Chen has no interest in the Qi transformation pills that will be given to the top 5 of the outer sect trial. He definitely has another purpose to participate in the outer sect trial. Other than the mysterious stone tablet in the third test of the outer sect trial, what else will interest a genius like senior brother Su Chen? This isn't the first time that everyone has watched the outer sect trial. You all know that one needs to be talented enough to comprehend the cultivation methods and martial arts from the mysterious stone tablet. At this point, Cao Yun paused and slowly swept his gaze across everyone present.